fingered punch.
Will we see a plant this map? Just a question. Do you think we'll get the plant this map? We haven't had one last map.
No.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. It all went by very quickly.
Yep.
You blunk and you missed it.
As Fresh said, he watched one cat video and the game was over.
Yeah, and then he meowed.
He meowed.
Meow meow.
Meow meow. Your meows are way better than mine.
Thank you. I practice.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah, when I see cats and
you start meowing to them.
Yeah.
Have you taken a language course in
I'm learning.
Like any language app? What does that mean?
I can't tell you.
Can't
It's very complimentary.
Okay.
It's not. I'm whispering into the mic. You can't hear this either. I'm whispering to the audience in production.
So happy you were talking in a complimentary way of me with cat.
Duolingo.
Or any other app available.
Azami removed by MNM against G2, yeah. I mean, it's dangerous. It's worrying. It was a nightmare in the hands of Benjamaster. It's something that Doki enjoys playing as well. They've said it before. You know, sure, you can only really limit a player like Benjamaster so much, but anything that's a positive in their arsenal that can be banned, because Azami is still a good ban regardless, but it was just... You was seeing someone who'd not mastered the tool, but was very happy to demonstrate courses in it.
Yeah, for sure. Like G2, especially with that Azami. I mean, it's not surprising considering it's their new R6 skin. You know?
Yeah.
The Azami G2 one. I really love the video they made for it, by the way. Oh, available in the store now. How coincidental.
Wow.
The G2 Esports bundle. R6 share.
Timing.
Directly supports G2 Esports. You know what else directly supports G2 Esports?
Well, tell me what else.
The Smoke Championship skin.
It does. It does. Yeah, and you can find that all.
Yeah.
In the
Esports tab.
The Esports tab. MNM have a skin as well.
They do have skins. Also very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
I love the card background especially.
Look at us.
Look at us just selling out slightly.
As if it's our job. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Barbed wire there. Ready for the awareness on anyone that might get a bit too dangerously close. There's always the risk of jump outs. There's always the risk of someone trying to meet your fight with a fight. And here, the fight itself is slow boiling and building. They're going for an approach here, generally spread out over everywhere. Tyrant, he's got himself the swing round on the third wall. He's making sure that he can put pressure onto east stairs and above. You just keep things hot. As we said with Border, it's very delicate. It's a balance of as soon as a first fight will come together, usually there's someone only a few paces away from matching you from anywhere else on the map.
I mean, you literally only have to open up the door and fire like 3 more extra bullets and you're already going to find yourself on the opposite side of the map. But the direct line of sight, Nello just runs out. Hello, finds the kill into Benjamaster and shuts him down.
Perfect start. MNM, as I said, you can see them sort of propped up and ready to find fights. The external barbed wire, the opening there onto the top of East. They're trying to make sure they have a lead through. They wanted to bait some utility there. They were hoping to see if they could get a catch on a C4. They've entirely got themselves stacked behind this, the Oscar on the far end. But Nafe, with those glasses that can see through the idea of a smoke, is going to be the bait and the play. They've burnt it. They've got themselves back. Tyrant could drop the hatch and go underneath if they tried to sneak a plant on anything that wasn't the concrete as well. It's not the easiest run through, especially with how much of a build-up there's been here towards the actual plant and the take itself.
Not just that, but as soon as they start the actual plant, he can see that it's happening. A grenade comes through, but he needs to be careful because flashbangs are about to make his way in as well. Now, the Osa shield has been placed inside the side. There's a safe opportunity to go for a plan now as Doki finds something as well. The shield gets taken down by the C4, but basically no damage done towards the planting player. A 3-on-3 in a post-plant situation now. We already have that first plant underway.
I mean, sneaking that in and getting one out the door as well. The Osa shield saved the life. Alamau has the cover, and Tyrant, he's now all that's left. Virtue takes half damage. They've got one tucked up on one side. The Osa shield on the back end is going to make watching it deadly. Has to bait a bit of motion and movement. The ping's on the player, rotating up. He holds the first fight, but G2 hold the rest. And what was a very aggressive introduction to their Border turns into G2 pulling the round out.
For a second, I was very afraid there because they had the Warden on the long angle near the armory. They were going to have the Solace that was playing in Fountain. So they were always going to have knowledge on when the plant will be going down. When the C4 then came up from the actual hatch, but dealt no damage to Osa, but took care of that shield, there was a slight window there where they could have actually stopped that plant from happening, but not responding quick enough. And G2, they find themselves with that first round, instantly with a plant on the board as well, and shown that they're here to play. Now, as we head towards the next site, it is going to be a rerun, a reattempt from MNM. Realized that what they just have fallen prey to and might have made some adjustments on the way out. Because, you know, you got to make sure that such a plan does not happen again. Not that G2's going to be attempting it again. I doubt they're going to try and go for the exact same thing. But you know that you now need to be paying attention to such plans coming now.
Yeah, they sort of read how they need to do that as well. I called it when G2, if you're going for that Ossa Shield plant and you don't have
to see very early on as well, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sort of read very early on. The only place that you can finish that is on the concrete, because if they're still underneath it and you don't have control of it, it's very easy to get under there. It just takes a shotgun by the door. It just takes a well-placed C4. The C4 didn't quite get the catch, but it wasn't needed by the end of it either way. They'd eked themselves out. There's the external barbed wire. Curious where Alamau is going to find himself. There's a couple of sneaky positions you can drive in quite quickly, and the Ossa seems like they might try and route over the opposite end instead.
Quickly using the Impact EMP there to take care of any form of utility that might be out there in terms of like a mute gemmer or maybe anything else that could be located in that position, because it was a mute gemmer, just so the drone can go through and maybe get some information as Doki gets the very first, saw the second right underneath the default camera, but actually fell back instantly afterwards.
Jesus, he is so ready for an engagement here as well. He needs to swing at the right time. They just caught the side of Doki and they had the second to put the end to it. Very important follow-up there from the side of Naif. There's the shoot and the double hit prep. I learned that from Leon Gidd's YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've seen people do it every now and then, and you start using that again yourself, because I was such a big fan of the one-hit fault, for example. You can no longer do that, sadly. Do that actually with a couple shots. Either way, as we continue on.
Memories.
Benji comes through, gets a nice little pre-fire due to the yellow ping, and will secure out that one player down below. Nello now removed off the actual board. Hey, look at that. That's the Ossa just returning to phase when the C4 flies over. It's not actually going to get the kill. Naif will find Alamau. The plan now is going to be attempted, but they do have control of right below, so there's not going to be a shotgun to stop this from happening.
There's the second C4, but it does get the kit down. It's a 2 versus 3, and well, with Virtue hopped out the window, they know of that position. Can they try and formulate on the other? The Sledge is going for the rotate. They're tucked on one side. They're watching for Benja on the rotate round. It's an important fight for Virtue. He gets one. He gets dropped. There's Naif with the second. Then MNM, they claw the second round back. The second C4 was able to get the player and get them the body balance to take the engagement. One apiece. MNM find their first round on map 2, round 2 in this series.
And now they need to find more, because they've chosen defense here for a reason. Right, they want to get at least 3 rounds, I dare to say, maybe even 4 if they want to find themselves in a comfortable spot later on. Nave types in the chat, that's one, baby. Doki's helping him with the cheers. And with that, MNM, they're on the board. Let's see if they can get more. Ooh. There's a bit of a flame coming out to a different team, catching strays, TT9.
Catching strays.
Catching the strays. And round 3 is going to be taking place 1 floor down below. We quickly saw it in play in that last round where they used it for verticality to support the Ossa plant. This time not on the concrete, but on the actual planks, which means it would have been very vulnerable for a C4 or a shotgun down below, but with that control would of course not happen. Got the plan down, unable to eventually hold on to it. Now verticality is going to play a big role as well, but from the opposite side of things.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, how much of the stretch comes against it here. It's always the toss-up, I find, on team second sites nowadays. You see a lot go towards bathroom. You see that take a bit of preference here. And, you know, whether it's because of shield drives, whether it's because of just tucking yourselves in or getting the smoke cover, either way, it's something that's grown in. There's a bit of growth out of mount. Being caught and pulsed through the wall, just a read on the player, following them step by step. Wants to see if they go above, as having all that information fed towards the player that's hopped up ready for this engagement. Usus, he's waiting, he's cautious, he's got the pings on the player. There's only so much that you can offer them though, as they just opt to not take that encircling danger.
Yeah, wants to stay alive rather than take the risk and take that fight, as it was presenting itself for him. Doki now trying to enter from the opposite side. Solotov is being, well, basically given away due to the phone that's ringing, and players like G2 being aware of that, getting themselves ready. Concrete cameras are out there to support as Doki takes a little bit of damage, dealt a bit to Solotov as well, but nothing too detrimental for either yet, so they stay in their position. Solotov now pushing his attention over towards the archives.
Oh, who's going to get the first taste of somebody? There's so many narrow near moments where people are just passing by. There's still a lot of C4s in the pocket of MNM. That's the utility that might come to cost in a moment. They have the pulse giving reads as well as these pings. That camera is getting a great bout of info, but it's Blur that goes off first to the gunner Solotov. Gets caught on the far end as they've still peeled themselves closer and closer towards the site. They wasted a huge amount of time up top, letting the calls ring out and then choosing to rotate means they still have to be force checked rather than giving that read away. The breaks, the play, the holds and the angle. G2, the man disadvantage is made a little bit worse by Solotov winning that precious engagement over the hatch itself.
Actually dim blow up the C4 that was out there. Doki will find a response towards Solotov, going more aggressive as well, knowing that there is going to be remaining players in the actual side he needs to find, and well, he needs to be quick, but that one player in detention, Nello, that seemingly has gone unspotted, could be the difference maker here later on as Doki continues on the push. He's going to get swung on. Now, he has been known. Nello comes out of his corner, actually doesn't quite connect the shot as Doki still lives. Now, transitioning to the next, will not find the kill onto users as he gets shut down. It's only up to Virtue now in a 1v3 situation with 30 seconds left on that clock.
Does he know about the pulse? He slinks on by. You assume a swing will come. There it is. And Tyrant gets the end of there. MNM, a good hold. They read all the information of that approach, and you could see how they moved behind it. The fact that the pulse was able to drive some of that, it was caution. But caution paid with the respect of we still got to waste time. We cannot just give G2 ground to move and maneuver. We have to make everything dangerous. And then around the 2-minute mark, around the minute 30 mark, that's when we can drop back, win a couple of engagements in the trade away and the fade away. And at that point, throughout that whole thing, there was never truly any real pressure in towards G2 breaking their way into site itself. So very well played by MNM. Can Bathroom, the other generally seen vertical site, be the same?
Yeah, vertical in a bit of a different sense because, of course, if you look at ventilation and workshop, everything can be destroyed up from above. Bathroom, not really as much. Well, you know, there's a lot of that's actually part of the staircase and the balcony outside that you cannot really get full control of. There's some concrete parts as well in the office that, you know, are going to be unspotted. But the way that this usually does get played is with long angles out there, right? There is going to be opportunities to hold from workshop if you want. There is often going to be a heavy emphasis onto that top floor that defenders will try and hold on to with their dear lives. Solotov have actually got healed up after running through some walls, I believe.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc. There's one stim pistol gone. Not quite sure if it is because he wanted to go for a pump he could attempt elsewhere, or if that's just to make sure he's on 100 HP and, you know, you don't have any of those what if we were full HP questions.
Blur, a quick breakthrough onto the close wall makes things a bit more dangerous towards this. The caught tucked-in player on the far end of detention. They've got the breach open, so his rotate will be caught. Will he see the drone? No. There's the answer. Nello, an early bite there for Doki, who moves his way in, gets the catch on the far end, and suddenly, G2, they've been able to get that foot advantage here very early. The grenade gets the second. Solotov was watching and waiting for somebody to try and open that vertical, but the other side was that more dangerous section. Naif, he's in a bit of a danger spot here, holding onto the catwalk and seeing what comes next, but you can see the drones of G2 are still whirring and whizzing away with the two-buddy advantage, all to play for.
But that's the thing, they have that two-buddy advantage right now. Are you going to be going for that top floor clear? Because there's still 2 or 3 players out there, or are you just going to be ignoring it, trying to see where you can like actually reach on a horizontal level? Because Naif, he's still creeping around out there. He's still hoping he can go for at least a bit of control. They also see that there's verticalities, or at least lines of sight being opened by the remaining defenders, and as Naif loses his life, well, that's only 2 players left now on the actual site. One spotted out inside the fountain, struggling to take care of that drone. And that means that they might just as well go for the site control now, but Tyrant dropped down. He finds that first.
Yeah, Alamau wasn't quite in a position to get the swing covered there, and they lose Doki, who opened up the round aplomb. But can they try and just wiggle their way through onto the site? Look at where the hit is. There's the heavy hitting rifle. There's almost the second victim, but it's Blur from the top rope. On the back end, gets the drop on the player. The call came through, missed the rotate, but made it matter just after 2 apiece. This game hasn't run away from anybody yet. It has been traded out.
Again, though, overall, Border has been basically hailed as a attacking-sided map. And overall, we had a 36% defensive win rate. So MNM already having 2 rounds on their defense is already a good sign of things that might be to come as soon as they go over to their attack. If they manage to get a 3rd round in this half as well, they are definitely going to be finding themselves in that good spot. Now they're again going to be running it back. They've just lost out on the bathroom and they decided that it's time to retry that, because if you really start thinking about where it went wrong, it wasn't strategy. It was just the ping on the poles with the pre-fire coming through, the instant grenade afterwards to take control of CCTV, and you basically lost everything you had already at that point. If those 2 go the other way, or if those 2 just don't happen at all, you have a completely different round in your hands, and that's what MNM is banking on for this one.
G2, back on the drive, on bathroom, back on the place that, as you said, they're sort of playing against MNM's gamble here, and we think about what was lost quite early was a bit of a misplacement and a misdrawn catch there. Instead, a very solid hold. The route turns into a maze with those castles down the corridor.
Yeah, and it's always a bit difficult to navigate. Of course, there's a Sledge, you know, Benja, he can just smash himself away through by taking care of those castle barricades, but you never really know what's on the other side, because you cannot really see through it unless you use one of those drones, and even then, it might just change instantly afterwards. Instantly, on the ground level, some pressure coming down, though. Benja moving through. Spotting some of these rotates, already fully in control of customs. And Nello just sees someone walk by on very close range right there. He's going to try and go for the fight! What a beautiful shot! Takes down Benja and a drone right as the phone calls go off. And E1D will be giving away some of the information as well, but are unable to connect it right away. G2 unable to trade.
Beautiful camera and combo placement there. As I said, they've changed things up because he got punished early last time, and he makes sure he is the punisher on the second follow around. How do they work now without that body advantage onto this site and without the sledge that we talked about, those castles being problematic? They're even worse now. You've got 2 of those soft breaches in the pockets of Doki, and otherwise just a lot of punches to come through, but you kind of wanted those for the verticality. You kind of wanted those for the angles. You've really limited now what is a lot of softs.
There might be a mute gemmer right underneath that window on the side. No, there's not. Okay, for a second there I thought it might have been a mute gemmer that stopped it from happening because I thought it was a click. I'm just hallucinating at that point. Doki's going to be trying to move in. I believe there's already someone on the side in terms of Nello, so he's going to try his best. Nello gets shut down right after he gets the kill, but the site is under control of G2, so can they do something with that as Alamau takes down yet another player?
I mean, he just saw the opportunity on the window, takes down 2. They're above the hatch now itself. They're rotating towards these stairs. The kit's been able to find its way around here, and MNM, they've sort of been caught a little bit by surprise. They've got to try and rebuild. Blur going for the plant, the swing down, and a great take onto the first. They're looking for the planter who's tucked himself safe inside Sandwich. The swing through of Alamau on the second, and now it's a 1 versus 1. Solotov versus Alamau, 2 big players that have been able to find even hands, but it's MNM that win it out. Solotov takes the header for the player, got the planter down first. And what a huge moment there for MNM to bite back on that deficit.
I'm not quite sure what the call was to go off the plant there, as they were attempting it in a relative safe-swap, because it was between the 2 metal shells out there, so it wouldn't have been shot as the bangs were attempted. Then took the fight, lost his life, left Alamau in that 1v1. If he stuck the plant, it would have been that 1v2 with the time ticking down. You can literally just wait until he pushes onwards. But again, I'm not sure what the call was. Maybe it was a drone that called it out. Maybe it was, you know, the factor of he might just actually push me whilst Alamau was fighting with that other player. Either way, MNM able to capitalize on that, finds themselves that 3rd round they've been looking for. And now they have the opportunity to go for that 4th. If they do, Border is looking very bright for them.
All right, 4-2 MNM. Can you keep this pressure up? I said it at the sort of turn of the half, but I think anyone on the back of a 7-0 map would, that we need to see a new MNM. We need to see an MNM that's more confident in their gun swings, and they're showing up, and we're starting to get that from some of these players. And G2, they haven't quite been able to get themselves as cool, calm, commanding, and in control. However, I think Alamau getting his breakthrough there onto the site still shows some warning signs that MNM have to have awareness of.
Yeah, that could have really ended badly there for the side of MNM if Alamar was able to convert that with the rest of his team to an eventual round win, because they got very close in doing that. Instantly pressure coming around here in the passport control, opening up these barricades, putting up some rounds through the soft walls as well. It's taking care of some default chems, all the basics that you usually expect from a team. Users being droned out, or either hot droned in for Doki. There's no instant control coming out right afterwards, but Doki's just running right past.
Yeah, do they know that they've gotten past users here? Users strikes onto one, runs out for the next. No one's there. They're coming up east. They're on the window as well. He almost wins out the next engagement. They're not quite sure just how to stop the player, but Alamau is on the bottom rope there. Gets the breakthrough onto Passport. They've been able to retake the fight, but that was a great bit of play. They punished again. This game of just punishing mistakes is back and forth. Benja gets Nello. The breach on the wall. They're hoping to get the player as they try and rotate around. The impact, I'm not sure if it got the full catch.
Strider ahead, almost being sniped off from Virtue there from the player. Square area, Solotov actually taken care of from below. Got stuck in the rotate and Benja just makes full use out of it. And MNM suddenly they find themselves in a 2-on-4 situation after being given a free kill onto Doki. The EDD will take care of Blur before Benja almost falls as well. Quickly takes them out.
Yeah.
But the diffuser now dropped. And that's the painful part for G2 here.
That's it, the kit stuck on the back end. Naif puts his goggles on and goes to a slightly different position. They'll call that the kit is isolated here. They still have some wiggle room to work around it. They know the objective has to be played. If you question if will the kit go down this map, this might be a round where we're probably not going to see that answered if MNM can keep a keen hold and eye on it, force it into a gun game. Although they have a man disadvantage, they were gifted one more here.
Turn going down below. It's going to be using the Solace to, if a plan does go down in the end, he has the opportunity to try and cancel that. But G2 should be aware of the fact there is a Solace on the board, and if they do find Nave, the call should be coming through for a safe plant there. That's the first to come through. Drops down the hatch, but he's not gifted with his life. Benja now. Right on the door of the actual objective. I believe the rotation came through from Tyron already. He's quite close. He's actually in Fountain, looking to go for a strike onto the kit. Is he going to be able to get one? No, he's not. Elamau finds him in time, and we're finding ourselves with a 3-3 split.
He came off at the worst possible time. One more step, holding down his ADS, and it would have at least been more of an even fight there. But G2, they get themselves that even half. They keep us locked across the pace here. It is still a good map for attackers. It is still, you know, MNM have a good bit of drive. They have a much better performance, obviously, than last time. But last time, well, attack wasn't really their thing.
No. Last time they weren't quite as successful. Just quickly going back to see Cafe. 0 rounds in total.
I don't think you need to look. I don't think we need to go back through the archives for this one. It was 0 rounds, and it's still something as a mentality thing where, yeah, it's a very different map. It's a very different play space, but at the same time, winning one of these might have more impact than winning the 3 defenses that they've just got.
For sure, mentally. As they weren't able to win one before, and they're up against that championship winning team. World Championship winning team. And they've shown to be absolutely on pace to be making it towards their next major, to try and continue their story. But the same goes for MNM, that they want to be making it as well. They have shown they have these skills required to do that. Of course, a 7-0 in the books will happen sometimes.
Hey, Blitz.
Yeah, it's not often we see that. I'm just trying to figure out where they're going to be using Blitz.
I don't know if it was Dark Zero recently that were playing a bit of Blitz.
I mean, there's a little team that, you know, just bring it every now and then, but I think there was actually
I remember seeing an NA team recently, and they're prerequisite
they've seen each other right now.
Yeah, the awareness of each other. They have pings in the motion. Another rare one there, Vigil. From the pockets of Alamau. You really don't see a lot of Vigil play.
Not anymore, no. I believe it was played earlier today. It's Heroic that actually brought it out for their 54th different operator they've played this stage so far. And there goes Tyrant. In he goes with that blitz. He's found himself some open space near CCTVs, looking to make himself over towards 90. And, you know, he's pretty stealthy for a big honky shield because he's gifted with a free kill onto Alamau somehow.
Yeah, the stealthiest operator in the game, Blitz. Makes his way around onto Vigil. Obviously the loudest and easiest squad operator. 3 apiece. Benja gets Nello after Nello got one of his own. They've lost Doki, they've lost Alamau, they've lost bits of utility there on the pockets, but they still have 2 C4s and they still have Warden and a lot of eyes and the limitations that can come against it. The Blitz, how is that going to factor in? That's always the thing. When you have an operator like that, you know, we know Zero, we know Dockerby, we know how they can work on a push. Blitz, when you've got a minute 10 left in the round, is a surprise. Because you can play Blitz, but usually Blitz is gone in the opening 30 seconds.
Usually that's indeed for like a bit of a blitzkrieg going through, right? Like you're going in quickly, you're going to try and make some impact. Now you have it for those final minute. So what they're probably going to be doing is trying to use Blitz as a pressure piece. Like start just rushing down a hallway, making the players scared on the opposite side. Or, if you really want to go for it, reverse plans possibly to block off any bullets that come through. Buy yourself an extra bit of seconds. It's going to be the pressure piece, that's for sure. Tyron already in very deep here. Oh, the C4
gets the side in Nafe, and suddenly they're isolated. Wins the second fight.
Oh, Benja!
Benja! Kills Blur. Tyron doesn't know. Gets the bot on the next.
Blue on blue!
Wow. Whoops.
Yeah, that's a whoops. I don't know. It's probably just like I got the door. He calls out there's a player on the door, but kills himself afterwards with the C4 that went through. But well, it is a round for G2. They found themselves in the lead again for the first time after round 1. Haven't been in there. The Blitz didn't really work out as intended. Somehow got a very stealthy kill, which is still surprising me because
Stealth Blitz.
Stealth Blitz, not something I would think I would have said at the start of this night.
No. Killing Vigil.
Killing Vigil.
Especially.
The operator down.
Imagine just the phrase, Blitz snuck up on Vigil.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, you know, so we have community members that make these kinds of like stories about it. That will be a very good one. Blitz sneaking up on people.
It's terrifying. I remember 4-speed Blitz. Do you remember 4-speed Blitz from the test server?
Was it test server? I think it actually went through to the actual server for like a bit.
I definitely remember it on test server where they accidentally overtuned Blitz and he was 4-speed.
Like he's now quicker when he's running. It's like how much quicker? The answer is yes.
And there's shield changes coming.
There is a shield change coming. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet because I mean I don't like playing against shields, but I assume that a lot of the shield players are not going to be a big fan of this current change that's coming in.
We'll see. I like that they can turn their heads.
Yeah, basically like the Observer do as they're going over someone that's countered a few.
Yeah, I think UB saw that.
And they're like, what if we put this on shields? It's a genius idea, really.
Wow. Quick rehost, if you didn't read the old chat there. There's just a bug, so we'll be getting ourselves back and sorted and in the game uno momento. And yeah, we see there, MNM, they had an idea, they had a lead in, they put a lot of early pressure. I think they, you know, as we sort of highlighted, they wanted to go for a play. The play didn't work, and then you try and piece things together. And it's like MacGyvering anything. When you're trying to pull a round back,
these are the tools we have.
This is what we have, how do we make it work? When you have an object like Blitz's shield in that, it's awkward. It's awkward to try and make it work, especially when it's on Tyrant, who is a fantastic lead-in gunner. And sure, they have an operator that can be a good lead-in, but not the gun that you probably want at that moment.
You definitely take the attention to you as soon as you do run in. All guns will be aimed at you. If you cannot fire back. What?
Brava can destroy mirror, OMG. It wasn't a mirror.
So
we have trivia, apparently.
Yeah, so apparently Alamar thought the Bravo drone took care of the Twitch, the mirror. Either way.
Round 7 was the first time Blizz has been played in EU this stage. Wow, that's fun.
That's a fun
fact. That's a fun fact.
A fun stat.
Yeah. I definitely saw it in NA. I'm pretty sure. There's a lot of siege that goes on.
Would have been surprised if it happened by a Cyclops game as well, you know. But there's definitely a lot of siege going on. So it's basically on 24/7 nowadays.
So much siege. You're all
With all the
spoiled.
new regions we have.
Everybody's spoiled for Siege.
So I'm very excited, by the way, for the major format.
Yeah.
Especially because we're going to have a MENA team coming in. I think that's you know, they've been wanting to be part of it for a long time, and now
I've heard a lot of terrifying things about those teams. The MENA teams are
a menace.
Like, yeah, they're like absolutely tearing people up in scrims and in performance. So I too am very excited to see the MENA region.
Imagine MENA wins it first try.
Imagine that after APAC's been trying for how many years?
for a lot of years,
MENA just shows up
and wins it.
This is ours now.
Oh, the scenes will be there. But first, we are trying to establish who's going to be making it to those majors, and the winner of this game will be going as well. Will be booking their tickets over to Copenhagen. Now, for some, they don't have to travel as far as Doki almost finds himself a kill onto, I believe that was Tyrant. He's now afraid because, you know, the wall next to him has been opened up as well, so he doesn't really have a lot of room to play with here.
There is so much pressure circling Doki at this moment in time, and you have to make a decision. What way do you go? That wasn't the right way, but he knows he's going to be under a fight. He knows someone's going to swing into him, so he may as well try and take the lead in. Benja gets some support. Solotov instantly gets one back on the swing side, and Benja, he's being called out. He can hear the flashes over the shoulder. He takes the hatch drop because he's not going to sit around and find out what happens, but uses caught by a frost mat. Blur gets the lock-in, swings his way back around, and as the break happens over the top of Armory, it's just these little trays, these little moments. Is what I talked about on this map, is you can go from thinking you're entirely safe to somebody popping up and being in an engagement with you. It's just border.
It's just how thin that map is, right? Like, again, I said it, like 2 bullets, so you can already see the opposite side of the map going through. Well, Solotov actually has a good drone onto Blur there, but he's just fallen back. Of course, the site is down below in ventilation and workshop, so they don't actually need to take the fight up to the top floor for as long as they already have. So they've fallen back. They have some C4s out there, quickly recovering them with the Super Shorty going through, the ITA-12S rather, making sure that they can reutilize that elsewhere later on. Because there's 40 seconds left on the clock, and if you then look at what MNM currently has under control, the answer is just Fountain for now. The rest is still outside.
They swing in. They get themselves in onto Sandwich. They're eyeing up directly underneath as well. There's obviously still one more frost mat, but surely that's a fool me once, shame on you situation. Blur swings his way closer and closer towards main door in the bottom of metal stairs. He's safe-ish, but it's going to be the big point of pressure here as 15 seconds starts the count. They drop directly down and they're holding onto main door. They watch the player go up. Nafe goes, picks it back up and removes. The hatch is the danger point. They're watching for the cover. The C4 gets Nello in the meantime. Benja gets one more. And G2 look out 2 rounds in a row and get themselves a bit of distance in a game that has been claw for claw.
It definitely has been a very back and forward game in that first half. Now G2 walking away with it just slightly. And I believe that's a tech timeout to be called by MNM. They need to take the time now to discuss before it's too late. And yes, we are not dealing with like overtime situations or half points because we're in a knockout phase. So they could have waited a round, but why wait that round if this gives you that extra buffer to fight back later on? So 5-3. MNM, on your attacks, you haven't been able to get one the last map. You haven't been able to get one just yet. You got very close to the first one, but not close enough. Now you headed to the tertiary site of G2, which I think is going to be Bathroom Tellers, but it could just as well be Customs. Have to wait until that's going to be locked in. And as you see the timer run out, so does the time to talk.
All right, MNM. It's been blow for blow, and obviously the hanging, daunting idea of what this map is defined by what the first was, which was, as I said at the time, at the start of this, all your attacks falling away from G2. And here, that's the first 2 that are gone. It's going to be big. Being able to get this, it has to be this. It's the tertiary site. This has to be the one that connects, even if it's a little bit shakier after that on the site immediately after. This is the most important one, weirdly, over the next 2 to win.
Yes, if they don't get this one, then a full rotation has been achieved by G2, and who's there to say that they are not going to be able to win any of those sites again? because then they would still have 3 rounds to win an extra round. So if MNM doesn't win this, it doesn't bode well for them, as you just mentioned. And it's not just in terms of rounds, but it's also the confidence. If you cannot win against them on any of these sides, then like how is that going to be spelling out your confidence for you afterwards? Of course, these are all professionals, and they're always giving their 100%, but morale is always still a thing that you have to take into account.
MNM, what's the team talking? What's the decision? Seems like a bit of fast focus here towards the top. They want to see if they can try and get some control. There's been, I'm not going to say a problem with trade games this map. We've seen a lot of kills instantly follow after, but it seems like slightly different lead-ins.
It's going to be a blitz again. I just saw blitz prone somewhere, so I was wondering what they're going to be doing with them later.
It's Nafe on blitz this time.
It's Nafe on blitz, yes. So Tyrant actually has a gun to play with.
I mean, a gun that a lot of good gunners favor.
It's definitely a fun gun to play. There's a lot of drones he can just take out there. Solace. There's also no one there to put some pressure on. There's 2 players being spotted outside. What are you going to do about it, Benja? Open it up from above. And now Solotov is like, okay, so they're aware that we're out here. What's our solution? Well,
sneaky blitz.
It could be sneaky blitz. Just trying to stealth himself away in and then see if he can take down Benja from above. Who knows? You know, Solace, who has the opportunity to see if any drones have any information on them, should be all-knowing in terms of information being gathered upon themselves. But no, it's Sneaky Blitz.
No Sneaky Blitz!
Why does this happen?
The calls came out that covered the audio. Nella tried to get the cover on the plant. They do lose 1 player, and amongst it, Doki goes for the drop. The C4 threaded over the top, but it won't quite catch the player. A post-plant. And suddenly Alamau bites one back on the far end, but there's still a blitz, and he's sneaking his way down the bottom of East Stairs. The C4 over the top, the ping and the reveal on the player. He can't take this in a one-on-one engagement. The blitz, they're not able to win it out. The spray comes against it. Tyrant, all that's left, the rotate round on the back end, drops the bulletproof, and Blur smashes his way through right towards the kit. The cover is coming through by the Valk behind. They win it out. And G2 pull off the rotation of 3. It's a let's go from Doki. It's a 1 more left to go from me. And I cannot believe we've had 2 sneaky blitz kills.
I was going to say, what does sneaky blitz happen again?
I cannot believe 2 sneaky blitz kills. We said they are defining a meta in this game. MNM are trying to define their own meta. Jeez, blitz is a stealth up.
So there is some connection problems. It might have been actually Benja. I'm not 100% sure, but I thought that as soon as Blitz moved on, I saw him like walk in place, so that could have been something. Either way, Sneaky Blitz. What a story!
What a story!
We should definitely be changing Blitz's operator description from like frontline to like sneaky.
Those descriptions, I disagree with some of those.
I mean, I disagree with some of them as well.
And I also disagree. It should be sneaky. You're right.
Yeah, it should be Sneaky Blitz.
Nook and Blitz, 2 of the same operators. Imagine, so the lore of the game where they all have like the separate things. Ghost Eyes, new recruit Blitz, and they're like,
Blitz has been transferred to Ghost Eyes.
Wait a second. Something feels amiss.
Make it happen. The transfer to Ghost Eyes. The Rainbow Six Squad's transfer season has now officially opened.
Yeah. Pick up Blitz. All right, we're back in. We're rolling around. The player with the connection problems is back in, and G2 are back on their first site. The rotation is complete. The game and the series is almost done after the pace of the 7-0 opening first map. G2, they're looking primed and ready to send themselves to Copenhagen and send MNM into a showdown versus Wild to find out who gets that last guaranteed spot.
It's definitely not a fight that MNM is going to be looking forward to here, because Wild has been a formidable team as well. It's been in their grips. Side away. MNM, you still have these opportunities. It's still not over. You just need to get 3 rounds in a row. It sounds like a lot considering we have played quite a lot of rounds. We've only had 3 so far, but you are capable of doing it. We've seen them do it before. And they just need to channel that in again. It's just that they're up against the world champions. That makes it a little bit harder, I would dare to say.
Yeah.
Because G2, they've shown that they are hungry for another title. They do not just, you know, they are not just content with what they already have.
Smashing their way towards the hold on the back end. That one rolled much further than I think Benja expected it to. They maybe thought it would hit the castle close by, but instead suddenly his 90's become way open. Doki finds Nello though. The first kill is his, the calls are coming out, and well, he's rotating his way through. There's a body on top of Break Door. The fight is against Solotov on the rafters. MNM are circling, trying to find a pinch on a player who they caught out quite quickly last time he was in this sort of situation, but is a very different operator with a very different hold tucked in around the pings. The motion on the players, the hop round, the cold kit will get recollected and covered. The C4 is a bit late to Benja, already getting the blows, and the rotate comes round. Solotov hasn't been able to catch either of those two players. This Tyrant does at least find Virtue. The hop up back to the site. Tyrant with a double. This is why you want him on a gun.
Yeah, not on a shield, not on the sneaky blitz. Wouldn't have been able to do that with the pistol either way. Back in a 3-on-3 we go. The players of G2 finding themselves close again, but Doki very low on HP. Just a single bullet through this soft wall should be the end of him. And he's about to be going for a bit of a swing right here. Finds the kill onto Tyrant. Instantly rotates around, takes 90 into control before he gets shut down by Solotov. A 2-on-2, 40 seconds, MNM. Everything depends on this. Otherwise you're going down, up against Wild as Elamau. Able to get the kill, but he gets injured himself, so it's an effective one-on-one, but Nave does not know that. He's unaware of this. So he knows someone is in armory. He knows someone is around the other side as well, and that's going to be the swing, and he finds the kill. MNM able to survive another round.
Ooh, dangerous, dangerous, but doing just enough. The swing on the Valcam, the sort of delayed idea of when can I take this fight, when's the call, when's the angle. Yeah, just enough time there for Nave to transfer from one angle in pretty much the opposite direction towards the fight that it needed to be, with not a huge amount of time left as well. Army looks and archives. They're going to double it down. There was a different idea, and to be honest, that started as G2's round. They had the pressure, they had the two bodies, the kit was cold as well around Office, and then they took the rotate without getting caught. It was the big work of Tyrant during that chaos upstairs inside the site that just went, I need to get bodies, and got two.
Tyrant really kept them in that. You're completely right. Like, just able to enter, find two, bring it back to that 3-on-3. Suddenly everybody has to hurry back towards the site rather than, you know, take a bit more time than they might have wanted to. And MNM able to clutch that one out. For the first out of those 3 rounds, they need to win in a row to find themselves in an overtime situation and the opportunity to fight for a map 3.
It's their first attack.
It's their first attack as well today, yes.
First attack today.
Out of how many attempts is it? Is it 10 attempts right now? Yeah, 10 attempts, 1 attack win. Doesn't bode well percentually-wise.
No. But
stats be damned.
Stats be damned.
Yes.
Sometimes you got to throw stats to the wind and see if you can try and pull it back. And G2, they're going to keep their stats and double down on this site. They're going to make sure that it's something that they can hold. And to be fair, if it's their strongest site, they're free to play it as many times. MNM are well aware of this. They might have to dance 3 times on a tough site, and Tyrant is the first tough removal. Alamau. He wasn't quite the biggest gunner on the previous maps, but this time he is enough to draw the...
He's definitely feeling border, let's put it like that. He's in a good one here. Playing on the Arcs as well, very mobile operator on a paper-thin map like this. You can just pop it wherever you want. Aware of the camera out there, don't think they can actually do anything from outside of the window. Drone gets taken care of. Alama already back up towards the top floor, so G2 basically fully turtling down right now, giving MNM that ground floor under control, but there's not much they can do from there anyway, except for throwing up those grenades. They have 2 in pocket with uses. They need to count. If it's for Solotov, picking up Benjamaster.
Yeah, gets Benja on the back end. Uses moving behind the calls, but nobody is currently home. Obviously, the Oryx has that ability to hop up and rock out of any dangerous situation he wants to. The drop on the camera is much earlier, and without the fire and the Furor behind it, they pull themselves further away with 1:30 left on. Ticking steadily. What's this one going to be? What's an idea? Yeah, that's the idea. When you've got it in the pockets of an offset on sandwich window, you're sort of trying to work out, are they just doing that to get a hold and a catch and then rotate it off? Or I'm going to go for something exceptionally dangerous. There's a trade out. There's one more. 3 versus 2 body balance. And, well, you look at what's been removed. They still have the kit. They still have some grenades underneath. It won't quite catch anybody as they pull themselves off. And they're all back to the site with 1 minute on.
Yeah, the rotation came through, so the nades have been cancelled. They're going to be keeping them in pocket for later on. 60 seconds, and Nello will find Blur as he just walks by. Brings it back to a 2-on-2. We've seen this one before. Virtue. Use is still down below, having 2 of those grenades in pocket. So all Nello really needs to be doing is getting the information out here to use them.
It's either that or they'll go for a plant behind the Ossa shield, but when the danger is obviously the C4, well, you've got to sort of trade that out. You need the cover. Doesn't matter if you stop them rotating underneath, if you can't stop the kill coming through directly onto them itself. They're watching, waiting, and hoping to catch the rotate. The smoke will go through. The rip of the C4 is ready. There's the throw over the top. They're trying to bait the utility, and there it goes a bit early. They're going to swing behind it. There's the shield deployed. They'll keep that solid as they go for the plant and the cover through on the opposite side. They have to wait for the smoke to dissipate, and they're able to take the first kill. It's all down to Nello now. He swings around onto one, but it's the second stack that gets it. G2. The second team, we are sending to the major from our ranks today. MNM, we are sending down to a brawl with Wild to see the third.
Beautifully played by those 2 players from G2 afterwards. Like, the first kill into the window, and afterwards just the bait. Like, take the fight, fall back, make him come into your double stack at that point. Worked out wonders. Alamau beautifully played.